Yo, hey guys, it's Matt. I'm gonna talk about some of the decks that didn't quite make it all the way to be video worthy, but actually I'm ending up recording with them now anyway, just in the meantime till I build some new stuff. Um, let's see if this feature actually works. Okay, so this is green black, black green Golgari elf warriors in modern. So mana base is a mix of black and green lands, fetches for thinning, and I made this deck after I got my Aether Vials. The original impetus to build this deck was a card called Talara's Battalion, which is a 2-mana 4/3 trample that can only be cast if you've cast another green spell that turn, I think is a restriction. So Aether Vial to vial that in on 2 seemed pretty good. You know, I looked up how many tickets they were, and I think they're like 2 tickets a pop, which is obscene for a niche card like that. And then when I was looking through Gatherer to build the deck, I found an alternative, and it's actually a better card. Ren's Run Vanquisher. It's kind of underplayed. I'm thinking because of Lightning Bolt, but this card is very strong. This is basically a 2-mana 3/3 Death Touch. The drawback is you have to reveal an elf or pay 3. Well, revealing an elf in a deck with all elves is fine, and yeah, there are a lot of efficient elves that this works well with. Also, you can vial it in on 2, and it's quite powerful, a good thing to ambush somebody with. Now, this goes really well with Bramblewood Paragon. So, Paragon is an elf warrior. Each other warrior comes into play with a +1 counter on it, and all creatures with +1 counters have a trample. So this coming in with Paragon in play is a 4/4 trample death touch, and trample and death touch work really well together. If you haven't seen the interaction, basically allows you to assign 1 point of damage to kill the creature, and then any other damage generated will go to the face, because the 1 death touch damage is enough to kill the creature. So super good interaction, works really well. Another theme of this deck is elves that are gazing off into the distance. So all of the except for this one who's looking at camera, we're all kind of like gazing off into the distance here, right? So it's I guess that's something elves do. They just, you know, look off to the side. So, what else is in the deck? 1-drop Beater, Nettle Sentinel, Elf Warrior, 1-mana 2/2 Elf Warrior. So, it works with the 2 cards we already mentioned. Warcaller is an Elf Warrior. Now, this is an Anthem, so you can play it for 3 as the 2/2 Lord, which is reasonable basically in any tribal deck. That's what you're gonna get. But if you have extra mana, you can go big on it, which is sweet. If you don't have extra mana, actually it comes in, you can play this as a 1-mana Lord with 1 counter from the Paragon. So 1-mana 2/2 that gives everybody else +1. It's pretty powerful actually. Which can be vialed in. You know, it works really well altogether with the deck. Capsule is one of my removal spells of choice here, because it goes well with Glissa the Traitor, the only non-warrior elf. It has First Strike and Death Touch, which I think is just good enough on its own to play. And I just, you know, it's a card I always wanted to play with, so I thought I'd try it out in this shell, and it has not disappointed me. It's impossible to block. It does a lot, right? Now, also in the 2-drop slot is Nissa's Chosen, right? Oh, and yeah, so the interaction with Executioner's Capsule is that you sack this to kill something, and then creature, this triggers Glissa, you get the Executioner's Executioner's Capsule back. So you can wrath their board sort of one at a time if you have this in play with the capsule. This is chosen, right? Elf looking off to the side. 2 mana, 2/3 elf warrior. So triggers off of Paragon, is buffed by Warcaller, decent thing to violin, and goes well with Nissa Revane. So I saw this card, I thought, you know, what would be a good shell to build with this, and so it all kind of fits together pretty well. This lets you search one of those chosen out every turn for free, or gain a crap ton of life. Both of the +1s are strong. Downside with Nissa is that her starting loyalty is really low, and you know, it's easy-ish to protect her, but it's tough against flying creatures. So you don't want to play this if opponent has evasive creature and you can just crack back for 3 and kill the Nissa, but still, you know, you could get a lot of value off of it. The ultimate, you know, would win the game with this deck, but you might as well just ignore it because it's 6 turns. I mean, that's just not going to happen without some kind of like proliferate or something else. I think that last number, the loyalty on this one should have started at, let's say, 3. The +1 should be, the first +1 should be a +2, and then the ultimate should be like -6 or -5, but -7 is ridiculous. So that's why this card doesn't get played that much, because the numbers are off. It's not that powerful. This is a card that's both powerful and synergistic with an elf looking off into the distance. It's an elf warrior that makes elf warrior tokens every time you cast an elf. Yo dog, I heard you like elves, so I make elves when you make elves. Need a picture of Exhibit with that meme there, right? So that, it just is a very powerful card that I enjoy playing with. Rounding out the deck, I wanted a couple more 3-drops, so went with Reese. Seemed like elf warrior, strong ability. Just thought it'd be a fun thing to play with. Putrefy is additional removal that's a little more versatile. Eyeblight's ending as a Doomblade kind of effect. That's also an elf for purposes of Renzer Vanquisher, right? So that's kind of a cool interaction. So deck has a lot of little things going on. It's subtle. I like it. It's decently powerful. I mean, the thing is, and I'll say this over and over again, don't find yourself playing a worse something else. So this is like a worse rock style deck or a worse tribal deck. Like, you know, if you want to go all in on tribal, then Merfolk is better than this. If you want to go all in on black-green value, then, you know, just your basic Abzan mid-range deck is going to be better than this. So don't play a worse something else, right? That said, this is kind of in the middle. It's different, it's flavorful, it's fun. I enjoyed playing with it, and I hope you enjoy the matches.